I wanted to venture out into something different. So that's when I was able to contact one of my friends who knew you, Mr. Tony.
Hi, this is Tony Griffin, Georgia Vocational Solutions President and CEO. So today I have one of our candidates that I've been trying to get an interview with for about, a year?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, about a year. Brieanna Phillips. Wow. I don't know. This is going to be an exciting interview because, like I said, I knew her before she got in the program. And I think when she came to me, it wasn't intense. She was just 10 toes like, listen, I need this, I need this, I need this. She was sure about what she wanted. And one thing I like about Bree, she's kind of a sure lady of what she wants. So this interview is going to be very important for me. I like I said, I've been knowing you for a little bit, and I thank you and your family and your friends. And that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her through one of her friends, and the list goes on. So today, Mrs. Brieanna Phillips, thank you for coming into Georgia Vocational Solutions. I am so excited to have you here. So I'm gonna ask you some questions and just relax. You know what I mean? This is not, this is just a conversation with you about your journey and where you've come to. I mean, this story is gonna be really fascinating. So we'll start asking you some questions and just jump right in here and don't feel, threatened by the questions.
Okay.
All right. So tell us a little about yourself and where you were before coming to GVS.
Well, I graduated college. I went to Valdosta State University. I had got a degree in criminal justice. I was a 911 operator for a short time period. And then I wanted to venture out into something different. So that's when I was able to contact one of my friends who knew you, Mr. Tony, and basically explain I wanted to take a different route, a different path.
Yes.
And I want to be able to learn more.
And the crazy part about this conversation is, now I'm not going to say this wrong, okay? But I pitched to you the Georgia Power Program. You remember?
Yes.
And I was like, first of all, I wanted her to do some volunteering for me.
Yeah.
So she volunteered for me. She's like, I'm a volunteer for you because I want to get this on my resume, and the list goes on. So she volunteered for me and trying to, funding volunteers. So I appreciate that. Let me start with saying I appreciate that. And so I kept telling everybody else about this Georgia Power Program.
Yep.
And she was like, hey, what about me? You know what I mean?
Yep.
What about me? And I said, you kind of girly. You kind of girly. And he was like, yeah, but I want to do it. I want to do it. And that was the eye-opener for me, because I believe you could, but I wanted you to believe that you could. Because when they was telling me you got to climb up the pole, you got to do all of this, get a CDL, you got to drive a truck. And I had really never met a girl that wanted to be in it, or a young lady that wanted to be in it, because I really thought it was for men, to be honest, Miss Bree. So when you said, I want to be in it and I want to do it, because I was inviting other men to do it, you stood up and said, I want to do it. And so that was the most important piece. And so your journey with this program at GVS, all right, how did you hear about GVS? Well, you told us, your friend.
Yes. So a close friend of mine, he had told me about you, Mr. Tony, and your program and what you can do. You can help people, help them find their careers, whether you know it or not. You help people get into these Georgia vocational classes, which basically help them grow each and every day to be something better. And because of your Georgia vocational class, I was able to get inside of your Georgia Power program.
Yeah. Well, and Cedric.
Yes.
What Cedric did with you when I introduced you to Cedric called me and said, Bree is real smart. And I said to him, I know she's smart. You know what I mean? But can she get a CDL? Can she drive a truck? I know you was smart because you volunteered for us. So I knew you was very intelligent. So you brought that space, and you brought that never give up about you. It was like, okay, now I have to do the physical part. but I'm not going to give up. And every milestone that you reached, you called me.
Yes, because I mean, I was very excited. I never thought that I was ever going to get a CDL license ever. I never dreamed of driving a truck, but hey, here I am. I got one. Even like just getting the permit, I was excited to get that.
Yes.
So from getting the permit to actually driving the trucks, and then to actually being able to get my CDL.
Yes, because when you got your permit, your CDL permit, you walked in my office like,
yeah,
I got my CDL permit, and I was like, okay, well, good. And when you got your CDLs, we just jumped up and down. So this has been a great journey for us and me as the CEO of Georgia Vocational to see your growth. Your growth. Okay, how did the at Georgia Power come about?
So through the Georgia Power Electrical Line Worker Program, I got to meet many different people. It's more like networking. So during that class, we got to network with many different people from many different companies, including Georgia Power, Pierce Powerline, UTech, and other power line companies.
Okay.
Through the class, pretty much we was able to meet new people, and that's how we was able to branch out and talk to other people. Georgia Power played a huge role because of the class that I took, I was able to obtain a job at Pierce Powerline.
Yes, and they kind of, it was like a working interview.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They told us from the beginning of that class that each and every time someone shows up and each and every day, you're basically being interviewed. So don't show no slack or anything.
Right.
Make sure you come there and you're ready to learn and ready to work.
Right. I was told that they're working interviews. Mr. Cedric would say that to me.
Yes.
And I was like, Miss Bree, but one thing I can say about you, when I would talk to Cedric, because I always talk to Cedric about how our student that I brought to him is doing. Mm-hmm. And he would say, Bree got it. Bree got it. Bree got it. And so your journey, the little hiccup was the climbing the pole.
Yes. Climbing the poles was very difficult, actually. That and because of heights,
yes.
too. I'm not normally afraid of heights because I can ride roller coasters and stuff. But when it comes to being on a pole and you have a belt wrapped around your waist and you're about 65 feet in the air.
Yes.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. Yeah, that's the only.
That is different.
That was the only hiccup that I had heard.
Yes.
But you told me he did not take that as you wasn't prepared. He's just like, I think you were more hard on yourself.
Yeah, I was more hard on myself because it's basically a learning thing. Because at first I was like, oh, well, I can't climb. I can't, just because I can't climb, then I won't be able to get this job and get that job.
Yes.
And then not knowing that there are many jobs out there in this line worker industry.
Yes. And that's a good, how was, what would you say to someone who may be unsure about taking the next step towards a new opportunity?
I would tell them, do not hesitate, jump on it. Even if you're unsure yourself, hey, you won't know unless you try. That's what I would tell somebody. You will not know unless you try. So if an opportunity comes to you, then I would jump on it. I would tell you to take it and see where it goes.
And because that's really kind of what you did.
I didn't know where this was going to lead me.
No, you didn't. No, hey. You heard line worker. You didn't quantify that was electrical.
No,
right? No pole. You didn't quantify CDL. None of that.
I didn't know none of that.
Yeah. But one thing you did know is that you wanted it.
Yep.
You was like, you keep bringing people in there to meet Mr. Cedric. I was like, I got to meet Mr. Cedric today, and I got 4 candidates. And then when I walked back in my office, you was like, hey, why you never introduced me to that program? And I said, oh, I didn't know that, and you proved something to me that regardless to the girly facade, that you didn't want to quit. You was not going to quit. Regardless, whatever they put in front of you, you were not going to quit. And so the CDL part, you ain't quitting. The pole part, you ain't quitting. The casting test, you ain't quitting. So that's why Mr. Cedric was like, oh, Bree got it. Bree got it, which is great. One more other question. What would you say to an organization like Georgia Power that partners with the program at GVS? What would you say to another organization as it relates to partnering with GVS?
I would tell them to basically network and contact and also get in contact with your company as well. Because without being able to network or anything, you wouldn't know who to contact, who is going to be able to help you. And that's basically what I look at it like. Like my whole journey is also because of networking.
Sure.
I had a friend that met you, that met Mr. Cedric, that got me into the program, that had me meet a whole bunch of different people.
Right.
So networking is a huge thing, and I would tell them to do that.
I agree. Let me ask a couple questions about what you do for Pierce Power. You work for a company called Pierce Power.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that interview, because I remember it, and you getting the job. And because I remember the day that they gave you the letter of the offer letter, we shared that. And tell me a little about how that journey has been with one of the contractors for Georgia Power.
The experience was great. I had a great interview. Basically, the questions they were asking me were just basic, like simple questions of what do I know? And I told them that I was also in the electrical line worker program at Atlanta Technical College, and they also go up there and visit them too as well. So that also helped with the interview process. The job that I do, I'm a safety auditor. So by being a safety auditor, I go around to all the different cruise sites, make sure they have the proper PPE, make sure they have the proper supplies. And I also do like the audits there too, to make sure that everything is up to date with regulations and OSHA and everything like that.
Sure. And you know, just your lifestyle has changed. You know what I mean? You know, to be honest, I enjoy that you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what would you say to another young lady that feels as though that, the outer exterior, and they feel as though that maybe line working or the trades, because you're into the trades.
Yes.
Right. The trades, how that could benefit them.
I would tell them to go into the trades. If I didn't know like years ago before I even got a degree itself, I would have went into trades, because it's basically everything is hands-on. So not only you're getting the certification, you're also getting the experience and the networking, and then you're able to get hired on to jobs faster.
Sure.
And because you already have all that with the trade itself.
Sure.
So I would tell them to jump on that, especially jump into the trade. A lot of people, they like to say, oh, I'm going to go get my bachelor's degree and stuff like that. Well, I have my bachelor's degree already. And sometimes that helps, but at the same time, it doesn't if you don't have the experience.
Right.
And going through with the trade, it helps you get the experience, the certifications, and everything that you need.
Sure.
Already. So I would definitely go through that.
And then the money is better.
It's cheaper.
Yeah. It's cheaper.
It's cheaper to go through with a trade than trying to get a 4-year degree.
Yeah. So, listen, I wanted to have this conversation with Mrs. Bree. Like I said, we've been talking to each other about doing this. And, Bree calls me all the time just to see how I'm doing. And I appreciate that. I want to tell you that on camera. It means a lot to me that students actually reach out and tell me their success. They don't have to do that. They're very busy in your day. Then you don't have to reach out to me and tell me that how you're doing. And you don't really make it about you. You always ask me how I'm doing. You know what I mean? I thank you. So this is Tony with Georgia Vocational Solutions. Today we had Brieanna Phillips from Pierce Power via the Georgia Power Line Worker Program. And Miss Bree, just thank you for coming in and doing this interview. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. God bless you. Peace.